And in my mind, it's just a matter of time. It remains to be seen what that time frame is, but it seems like a pretty good bet to me that between now and 2035, we'll see significant Optimus being produced. Let's get to the really fun one.
Here we go. I
If you think Robotaxi was exciting, wait till you see Optimus. So here is your revised numbers from February.
Yeah.
You had 25,000 in 2026, going up to 32 million. And now, again, I remind people, 32 million seems like a big number, but the fact that the bot weighs about 3% of a car, this is equivalent, let's say you can make 10 bots for every car. This is like making 3 million vehicles.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. It's interesting because this is the revised February 2025, and I have here 1 million for 2030, and Elon is talking about 1 million by 2030.
Yeah, you nailed it.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Huh. Maybe my Optimus predictions become more true than my Robotaxi ones.
You might have nailed the Optimus numbers. We'll see. Right?
We'll see.
But you've got a business value here for Optimus of 1.6 trillion by 2030.
Right.
And by 2035, about 32 trillion.
That's insane.
Compare that with the numbers I have on the next page.
All right.
And just to anchor to what Elon said, I've got 1 million in 2030 now as well.
Nice.
I happen to believe he's sandbagging on that, but we'll see.
I know you didn't agree. I saw your post on that.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, he's talked many times about ramping this up in a way we've never seen before, and to me, this ramp does not look like a ramp we've never seen before. This is, again, divide by 10, and it's like ramping automobiles. These are low numbers, so I think he's heavily sandbagging here, but that's fine. Let's go with the million in 2030. I get a business value of 6 trillion by then. And I've got the ramp continuing because Elon, again, is talking about making hundreds of millions of these things. So I've got 75 million being produced. And that's, again, equivalent of maybe making 7.5 million cars, which should not be a stretch for Tesla over this time period. So I've got a fleet then of 172 million, whereas your fleet by 2035 was about 64 million.
Yep.
And then a profit per bot per day of $42 a day. By the way, that was the answer in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The answer was 42. And the real question was, how much profit does Optimus make per day? That's the question for that answer. $42. And you can see I've got that going down over time. But I get to a business valuation on a fleet of 172 million robots, which is not a huge number considering what Elon's talking about. He's talking about making over $1 billion a year.
Oh, yeah.
This is just a fleet of 172 million. So that would get you to a valuation of about 130 trillion.
That is insane. Like,
okay.
That is insane.
Now, let's say you think that I'm completely full of it, and you say 10% of it's possible. They have a fleet of 17 million bots by 2035. You're still at a $13 trillion valuation then for Optimus.
Yeah.
So sandbag this any way you want, you still end up with crazy numbers.
Yeah, these numbers are insane.
Right.
This is why I can't comprehend the bot growth, like the robots. It's just hard. My brain hurts because the numbers are just ridiculous. And if Elon came out and said that, okay, no, we gotta be more realistic with this, but no, he's not. He's saying, no, we're talking about 1 billion robots. And I'm just like, man, how do you even evaluate this properly?
Yeah.
It's very hard to do, but these are the assumptions. I mean, it's a sheesh moment. I don't know what else to say.
And again, make whatever assumptions you want. Build your own table. Run through your own math. It's easy to do. Use this as a template. Run your numbers. See what you get to.
Now, I'm curious to know, like, the one question I have here is the net profit per bot per day. How did you calculate that?
Well, again, it's a little bit of a stab in the dark, but I recognize that over time, probably that revenue per day comes down. As you put more bots into the world, there's more competition. The cost of labor is going to go down, and Elon's talked about that. Now, I do think what will happen, and it's not reflected here, is that initially, as you put bots into the world, they can do certain things. But over time, let's say by 2027, 2028, those bots are super capable. So actually, they could make more money initially, and there'll be more demand, and you could really actually drive up the price of the bot if you wanted to meet that demand. Right, supply and demand. And then eventually, as you get to this scale and there's other bot players selling into the market, it's competitive, prices of the bots come down. What I did here was start at a certain level and flatline it and then start to go down. So actually, I do think there could be more of a hump in the middle here because Tesla probably could command a lot more profit, or lot more revenue and profit in kind of that early ramp phase where they're going from just a few bots in the world to a few million.
Right.
Apparently, there's already a shortage of workers, and I think just in manufacturing of something like 8 or 9 million. So you can deploy bots and meet that demand and make a ton of money. Bots are going to be incredibly useful, and they can work, call it 22 hours a day. So it doesn't seem crazy to me that you would make $42 a day in profit on something that's working 22 hours a day. Now, if we have crazy deflation in the world, then yes, the profit will be less, the valuation will be less. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Cut these numbers in half. The bot is making $21 a day, $1 an hour, $1 an hour of profit for labor.
That'd be insane.
Right. I don't know what the right number is, Peggy, but
it's hard. It's very hard.
It would be an incredibly low number.
Yeah.
But I think in the 2040s, you're talking probably it might make just a few dollars a day because we've got the cost of labor down to next to nothing. And as Elon has talked about, think about the world of abundance when you can reduce the cost of labor for everything down to pennies an hour.
Everything will become so affordable. That'd be insane.
There will be no reason for everybody on the planet to basically get everything that they need, and maybe almost everything that they want from a perspective of consumption. Okay, they might not be able to get the house on the coast. That may be still expensive, but they can get all the food, all the clothing, all the entertainment, all the education that they need at super, super low prices.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And healthcare and everything else.
No,
now, there's people out there that say Optimus will never work and all this stuff, but that's just BS. That's FUD.
Yeah.
Tesla will figure this out. If they can figure out how to get cars to self-drive, they will at some point figure out how to get Optimus to be autonomous as well. It's just a matter of time.
I think it's actually easier to get a Optimus robot autonomous than to get a car to be autonomous, because things change all the time and it's the road, and it's much more dangerous and much more complex to figure that out. So to me, I mean, in my point of view, this full self-driving thing is pretty much solved. It's just, them deploying, and, of course, there's always 1% that need to be fixed and stuff. But the fact that they pretty much done this, the Optimus is a whole lot easier. And another reason why I think the Optimus is going to come faster than robotaxis is because we have other companies already working on it. We have more competition with humanoid robots than we have with robotaxis. Like, that's insane. That is insane to me, that other companies, there's more competition with making humanoid robots than there are with self-driving technology.
And the good thing about that is that accelerates the learnings kind of across the industry. As one company makes a mistake and others see that, then they can course correct faster than they might otherwise if they were just doing it themselves. Yeah. Right. Think about Boston Scientific and how many years that they've spent kind of wandering in the woods with their robotics efforts. Right now it's game on and everybody's very serious about it. The other thing I think that's really important to note is think about the compute that Tesla's going to have 10 years from now. They already have a colossal amount of compute, not to confuse it with XAI's Colossus, but they have a huge amount of compute. Cortex 1, they're building Cortex 2. In 2035, are they going to have Cortex 10? Right? I mean, who knows where we're going to be by then. So the ability to, to build the AI brains of Optimus will only increase over time, and the pace of that development may actually accelerate. Yeah, and in my mind, it's just a matter of time. It remains to be seen what that time frame is, but it seems like a pretty good bet to me that between now and 2035, we'll see significant Optimus being produced.
Elon did mention that on shareholders meeting on November 6th, they'll do some showcases, but Tesla has gone very sensitive of not showing robots because people steal. Like, that's insane. The fact that other competition is going frame by frame to copy what Optimus is doing.
And to be fair, all the other robot companies too have kept it closer to the vest. We've seen very little from most of the robot companies.
Yeah.
The most we've actually seen from is Figure. They've actually been the ones that I think have shared the most information and videos recently. Right, Optimus, their Figure robot actually sorting packages and doing work and so on. So, and there's been some other companies that have done some of that too. But it makes sense from a development standpoint. If you no longer need to worry about attracting as much talent, you can go a little bit more stealth with your development. And that's encouraging. I think that companies feel like they can do that. They don't have to be as public about it, because ideally you want to develop it and then just announce it to the world and have everybody shocked and surprised and have your competition stumbling because they're so far behind.
And that's what Tesla's really good at doing too, with a lot of the things that they do. When they rolled out the Model S and then the X and then the 3, people were shocked to see that, oh, wow, there's a car, electric car that's profitable and has good range for under 50 grand. That was unheard of. And then the Model Y right after that, the self-driving stuff happening, and we got the energy stuff happening, and then the semis after, and then the Optimus stuff. It's
the other big thing too, Peggy, that's kind of come to light in recent days is the idea of Tesla's Dojo chip being a potential competitor for NVIDIA at some point.
I was going to ask you that. Yeah.
And none of that is in this model. It should be. It should be, because I think within the next 10 years, that's highly likely that there's either Dojo as a service, as an AI training, or even selling Dojo chips to, or AI 6 chips, which may be combined with Dojo at that point, selling that to other robotics makers,
maybe
potentially other car makers, to who knows what. That could be a significant business at some point.
Morgan Stanley was calling Dojo a $500 billion valuation for Tesla alone.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, how I see this Dojo thing being scaled, I think Tesla would need, at least for the next 5 years, every single chip that they make. But that also means that if they do that, they don't need to buy as much from NVIDIA.
That's
they
right.
can just, that's right. Their costs will be lower. They'll have a lot more cash on hand. And of course, their profits will increase as well. I'm not too sure if it will get to a point where they will make so much in access that they will sell those chips. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that I'm not sure about. I can see more of offering Dojo as a service, because there'll be downtime and training that they can offer that to other people. It's much like what Amazon did with their AWS. They had to scale up their compute, and then they discovered that they had excess, and so why not make that available to other customers? I can see Tesla perhaps doing that with Dojo as a service, because it's clear that AI training is going to be a thing for forever now. We're going to need these powerful AI computers, these supercomputers, to train these various models. And there'll be other companies besides Tesla looking to do it. And so maybe they'll contract with Tesla to do that work for them, which again is what AWS and Microsoft and Google are trying to do with their cloud services now, is provide those kinds of services in many cases. There's also AI inference. Once the models are built, you got to run them somewhere. And if you want to run them locally, you can use the AI 6 chip. If you want to run them, over the cloud, then you can use, Dojo as a service for that too. That will be interesting to see how that evolves. Also, XAI probably could be a significant customer for Tesla. XAI is going to need an insatiable amount of compute. And why not buy it from a sister company than perhaps buy as much from NVIDIA?
Exactly. And yeah, that's the beauty about Elon's ecosystem with all these companies. They all work with each other. One last question I have for you is, a lot of people are not, yesterday at the recording of this video, we got the news of the AI 6, which was not on my bingo card for 2025 for Tesla to make such a far deal. But, they're steps ahead. And you and I and the Tesla community who's into this, we know why this is a big deal. But a lot of people don't understand this. But this is a very big deal. I guess I'm trying to say here is that explain it to them like as if they're like 5 years old, to why this is such a very important deal. Because I did that yesterday, and there's some people who are still reaching out. They're going like, man, I still don't understand why it's a big deal.
Yeah. Well, let me try to explain it perhaps in the simplest way that I can think of.
Yes.
And again, not because people can't understand the more complex. It's just that I think simple ways sometimes to help us kind of cut through some of the noise. So you've got these AI systems that need powerful computers to develop AI software. For one, when you buy it from NVIDIA, it costs you a lot. You're paying NVIDIA's margins, right? 70% plus margins. You could build it yourself. You would save yourself a ton of money and get more compute for your dollar. That's number one. Number two, you can design these chips for your own purposes. And, AI chips from NVIDIA aren't necessarily the same as AI chips from Google versus the same AI chips from other companies. There's differences. You want to sometimes custom design them for your own purposes. In Tesla's case, they're dealing with a lot of video data for FSD. NVIDIA's chips might be better suited for large language model development than it is for FSD. And so they've already discovered that putting Dojo in combination with NVIDIA's chips is helpful. And they may discover that having even more of Dojo that's custom designed for their needs is even more helpful. So you get better outcome with less money. And then the other thing is kind of security of supply.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Right? When Tesla needs chips, they want them now. They don't want to wait 9 months. Now, I think NVIDIA has been an incredible partner for Tesla, and that I don't think that will change. And it may well be a situation where Tesla buys as much NVIDIA chips as they can, as they're allocated, and they also buy as much as they can make themselves. Like, there's almost an insatiable appetite for chips. Because it's one of those things where AI, you're never really done. Like FSD is never really completely finished. You can always make it better. There's always going to be the edge cases that you have to solve for, of the moose walking across the road. You want to make sure you deal with that because you don't want a moose going through a car's windshield.
Yeah.
Whatever crazy edge cases you can think of that happen out there every single day when billions of miles are being driven, you want an AI that can deal with all that. So you got to keep training these systems. At that point, it'll be, 1,000 times better, safer than a human driver. But again, it never stops. And so they just need to make sure they secure that supply.